was born in the Vortex.
What you
I will give them
podcasted, you have my permission to listen.
Oh, those funny Gallifreyans. Hi!
Hi, everyone. Just goofing
This is
around.
Matt.
Yeah, this is Taylor.
Welcome to Voices from the Vortex, episode 5.
We're the two dudes from the Vortex.
We're
It's almost as bad as...
I was just gonna tell the listeners we've been doing Bane impressions for the last couple of minutes.
It's almost as bad as my Knots impression. But it makes me happy.
I like my...
I don't know what's going on at all.
Have you seen the Family Guy where they're like, it's a Don Knotts movie called Too Many Ostriches, and it just cuts to him.
Why
Like,
are there so many ostriches?
he's like, there's too many ostriches. Why
I have
are
to
there
put my
so
what
many
in
ostriches?
where?
They didn't say anything about ostriches on the brochure. It's the weirdest thing, but it cracks me up every time. Well, it's another week. Hey, we're excited because we're actually like doing some kind of schedule type thing here.
Now, if we only had content. Woo!
Yes, no, we have things to talk about.
No,
We're nerds.
We're nerds. Hi, nerds.
We always
We're
get
your nerds.
Yeah. So, I don't know if you all out there can hear. We also have updated our background TARDIS.
Look at that. We did.
Yeah. It's nice and new and shiny. Sounds a little different, but I like it.
I do kind of miss the whoa.
Yes.
Oh.
And then every so often it would go shh. But yes.
Our seriously, we have the best sound effects in the show.
Yes, we do. No, but this is we've upgraded, and I'm sure all of you've noticed when you clicked on the link, we have a new logo.
Ta-da!
Woohoo! It's pretty snazzy, and we're really excited about it.
It's awesome. I love it.
It's really awesome. It's much better than my little sketch that I drew, and then I cut and pasted them on a picture of the TARDIS. Yeah, it was okay. But this one is awesome. I'm so excited. I want to give a huge shout out, huge thank you to James Bratton.
Sir, thank you very much.
Yes, a friend of mine. Everybody go check out his art. Go check out his stuff. He's at skinnyd.com. That's skinny and then the letter D. Hey, that's his...
Almost sounds like you said skiddly-dee.
No,
I'm not gonna lie. Skiddly-dee.com.
Yeah, he's got a Facebook page. I think it's skinnyd, facebook.com and then /skinnyd.
It's just like wibbly wobbly, timey-wimey, skiddly-dee, biddly-dee.
Yes, right.
That's not a joke that's going to come back later in this podcast.
I may have to edit that out.
No, don't you dare.
This
Leave
podcast
it in for
is
the world
wibbly
to
wobbly.
hear. Just so you know, we record these podcasts timey-wimey, wibbly-wobbly. It's amazing. That is to say, he's actually next Tuesday from now, and I'm 5 months ago. So you never know when you're going to guess.
I can't fit this. No one's going to know what the hell's going on.
Just
put this in.
Trust us, when you get to the end of the podcast, all will make sense.
I wanted to... Well, let's give a little background here. It's August 2013, so we're kind of right in the middle of this big hiatus right now. So, yeah, we're waiting for we're waiting for the epicness that will be the 50th anniversary in November. So, we're excited. You know, we have a new doctor who's Peter Capaldi's going to be the 12th Doctor. We're excited about this. We're just waiting. They're just making us wait.
Yep. Right now, we need a sound effect of a banjo.
No, I don't want it. That's no. I know what comes after that. It's not pretty. So we decided, well, let's talk about other things that we like. You know, we can talk about Doctor Who also, but just we don't have to talk about what's going on right now in Doctor Who.
Right, we can talk about. Hey, I have a new segment for the show that I like to call My Favorite Memory of Doctor Who.
Oh, I would love to hear this.
See what I'm saying?
Yeah.
See what I'm... Okay, all right, so...
I see what you're saying.
Let's pick it up what you're putting down there, man. So, there hopefully will be some sort of musical interlude that brings us into this sketch that we would have just listened to. So, hi! Welcome back from that musical interlude to Matt's Favorites new segment.
No, wait, hold on. I'll throw it in. Hold on. I'll put it right here. Okay, so that's where
I love that.
Yeah,
wasn't
that good? Yeah,
Thank
hopefully
you.
I'll find something good.
You're the best. So welcome to Matt's favorite memory of Doctor Who. So I'm going to tell you all about the very first time I ever saw Doctor Who. That's going to be today's bit from me. It was many a year ago. I was a wee one, about the age of 11 or 12, and my dad had just found out that Doctor Who was coming back to PBS here in the States. For those of you listening outside of the United States, that was just something that they did, just randomly, on public access, British Doctor Who. And my very first episode was Castrovelva, which is the first 5th Doctor episode. I remember it because it was one of those nights, normally, you know, next night would have been Monday, or next day would have been Monday, I would have had to be at school. My dad let me stay up so I could watch all of Castrovelva. And I remember seeing the very first thing, which was Tom Baker regenerating into Peter Davidson. For me, that was my very first moment of Doctor Who, was a regeneration.
Yeah, that must have been kind of weird.
I had no idea what was going on.
Right, yeah.
I just remember asking, is he going to come back? Like, does he transform back? Because there was another guy, and now that guy's gone. What happened? But I do remember the whole that first episode. Not a lot of Doctor. Doctor does some stuff, but mostly he's kind of out of the picture. It was all about the companions. It was about Adric getting lost and kidnapped by the Master. It was about Tegan and Nyssa having to fly the TARDIS through the Big Bang that started the universe. It was craziness. And you hear all the sounds of the TARDIS, see them running around in the TARDIS. You heard the cloister alarm, and you saw, everything that you would imagine a veteran Doctor Who fan would have seen and known what they were. I got it all in one episode. So for me, it was a very positive experience.
Well, that's awesome. The first time I saw Doctor Who was obviously, you showed me, you told me to watch it, and I watched, Rose. Yeah. Which is a pretty good episode.
The worst of all of them, but it's still good.
It has a lot of good moments in it, but it's like, you get to that plastic Mickey, and you're like, okay, what have I gotten myself into?
Pizza. There's no way not to ask for pizza that way.
Yeah.
Now.
If anyone made it past Pizza, congratulations. Anything else after that is just fine. It's Pizza that is the
pizza. So tell me, Rose, what do you know about this Doctor? Oh, I'm sorry, were we talking about me for a minute? Really? So that was our segment. Woo!
Yeah, woo!
And outro music.
Oh, we need music here too. Okay, I'll put something.
Okay. And
I can't promise this will be pretty. Okay.
And then. And we're back.
Oh yeah. Okay.
That was a good segment.
Yeah. I
like that.
Yeah, I actually have a really interesting article that I saw, and I thought maybe we could talk about it because I like to speculate and I like to theorize about what could have been or how things might go if something went differently. So this is an article that came out a while ago, and it basically is an article saying what Stephen Moffat would have done if David Tennant had stayed on for one more season. I guess there was. Yeah, that's kind of really interesting to me. I guess there was talk of him maybe staying around for maybe one more season. After these specials, and but I guess he decided to leave, and that end of time would be the end of the last one. So he sort of had this rough idea, and I'll read the article. I'll read his explanation, his idea, what he had, and we'll kind of talk about it because it's pretty neat. He says, "I only had the roughest idea. Had David stayed for one final year, it would certainly have been his last. So my pitch was that it would start with the TARDIS crashing in Amelia's back garden, as now, and a terribly battered and bruised 10th Doctor staggering out. Amelia finds him, feeds him fish custard, and then he says, 'No, that was for Matt. It would have been something more David-y.'" Which, David-y. "And generally helps him. But we, the audience, can see he's in a truly bad way, dying maybe. Eventually, he heads back to his TARDIS and flies off. But when he returns, many years later for Amy, he seems perfectly fine, and indeed doesn't remember any of those events. And of course, over time, we realize that what we saw was the 10th Doctor at the end of his life, about to regenerate, events that we return to in episode 13.
Ooh.
So, he kind of did this. He did this in the Angels episode, where he kind of comes back at the end and talks to her, but we don't really know.
Right. We
didn't really know what was going on. So we actually kind of got to use this kind of plot device. But basically, what I'm mostly interested in here is like the relationship between Tennant and Amy. I think Tennant and Amy, like that would have been really interesting to see. It's a shame she's probably not going to be in the 50th because that would be kind of an interesting back and forth between,
It would be interesting. Yeah.
I also like that, if Moffat stayed, I think that I wonder if, the TARDIS would have changed, the theme song would have changed as much, the sonic screwdriver would, you know what I mean? I wonder if...
Right.
You're right, yeah.
I feel like all that would have changed. I feel like Moffat wanted to get a fresh start, but if he had David one more season, he still would have maybe updated the costume a little bit. I think he would have changed the TARDIS, the interior of the TARDIS.
Yeah.
Though I don't think it would have been as drastic until his final moments.
Uh-huh.
I feel like the intro definitely would have changed. I think that was something Moffat really wanted.
Yeah, I can't even imagine how though it just would have been weird. I think it wouldn't have been weird at the time, that it had happened, but
right.
It's weird to think about. And the article has this. It's funny because it has this picture that somebody had photoshopped of Amy from the 11th hour, and she's yelling and talking to Tennant, and he's standing in front of the police box. It's really interesting to see this picture. You're like, huh? You're like, wait a minute. It's you have to double take. You're like, wait a minute. This isn't a real picture. In this article too, it says some interesting things about this is the implications for the relationship between 11 and Amy, and then even Rory and River, because the one interesting thing that I always thought about Silence in the Library is she has this line where she says, "This is the youngest I've ever seen you," but she kind of acts like she knows that it's the Doctor. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But if this is the only time she's seen 10, like, she acts like... I feel like she wouldn't know it was him at first.
Mm-hmm.
But she comes right in. She's like, hello, sweetie. She knows it's him.
Right.
She
doesn't bat an eye at it.
Right. Yeah, you would think if she hadn't seen this regeneration of him before, that maybe she wouldn't know it was him. But then also, if he had seen her before, then he would not know who she was.
Well, and maybe it's that, she said she had pictures of all his faces.
Yeah.
So she knew that this was the Doctor. She just didn't realize she had never seen him in this regeneration.
Right. Well, and then the big shocker to her is that he's never met her before.
Right. This is his first time.
Yeah, this is his first time meeting her, which she just... I mean, that's the thing about that scene, is she just knows that because it's his last time, her first time seeing her, it's like,
Yeah.
I'm probably gonna die here or something.
Well, and that's actually a very good point. And maybe she's in the 50th.
Well, yeah, maybe. That's a good point. She could be in the 50th. Anybody could be in this thing. That's my motto. Anybody.
Nobody knows.
Adipose might be in there. Throw some adipose.
Adipose. I miss the adipose.
It's funny. My wife is watching Doctor Who right now, and so I've kind of been watching some of these episodes again. Basically, she didn't really watch it with me when I started watching, and then she kind of hopped in like the middle of season 4. So she's been starting over at the beginning, and she did this a long time ago. She started over season 1, and she got to about halfway through season 2, and then she just kind of stopped and just kind of stopped, like she just kind of forgot about it and got busy with other things. And so a few weeks ago we started up again, and so right now we just got to season 4, so we just watched the Adipose one earlier. But it was interesting.
They're so cute.
Yeah, no, they are. The thing about that was funny because it seems like the Adipose are like a huge thing. Like, there's plushies, there are all these things, but they weren't from the old. Yeah, but you only saw them once. They weren't from the old show. I mean, they were kind of.
It's like Tribbles from Star Trek. Yeah, they were only in the one episode.
Yeah, they were kind of cute, and then it wasn't really that big of an episode. It was just kind of not that memorable of one. Those Adipose they're like a main staple of the whole thing.
Well, what you don't know is that there was a movie made in the Doctor Who universe, That Darn Adipose. For anyone who's counting, that was a That Darn Cat joke.
Oh my God.
I'm so sorry.
We're gonna get letters.
I'm not allowed to talk.
Christina Ricci. She's gonna be so upset.
Hey, it could have been worse.
It could have. I don't think it could have.
I could have. The Shaggy Adipose. There was so many others.
The Shaggy. All right. They also
you just right past that one.
Right. The other thing with River too is, I'm sure Moffat would have used her later.
Well, and she could have seen him then, and
she could have seen him.
Wouldn't have been
in
that
season
young.
5. Yeah. So we would have gotten more Tennant River adventures, which would have been kind of cool.
Ooh.
And it would have been even better because they would have both known each other.
But there wouldn't have been that. Would there have been like that sexual tension like she has with Matt Smith?
See, that's the thing, and he's because that's why I think that when Moffat was writing the library stuff, I think he kind of knew. He kind of knew that he was going to do this thing with the next Doctor. Like, he knew that it was because it was her Doctor, or that whole speech about her Doctor. I think that he knew that he was going to do something like that.
That darn Moffat.
Yeah, and then so...
I'm sorry. I meant to say that Shaggy Moffat.
That's okay. He has a little shaggy, that curly hair on top.
Right?
Yeah.
Continue.
And then, the last thing it says, anyway, that didn't happen, and Tennant moved on, leaving us all to wonder what he'd have liked to eat instead of fish fingers and custard.
I'll never know.
Something French. You'd be like, oh, allons-y.
Allons-y.
I love
cheese.
French toast. I don't know.
Really?
I don't know.
We actually have this much fun in life. He and I.
Yeah.
Taylor and I. This isn't acting. This
is true laughter, folks.
So, I have a question from one of our listeners.
Oh, you do?
I do. This comes from, and we're going to do this much like, I guess, like a advice column here. So this comes from A. Wallace.
Okay.
A. Wallace writes, I'd like to know what you guys think of that Rose and Ten's appearance will be in the 50th. Will it make me fall into a pit of tears? Will I lose my soul by the end of the 50th episode? This is really important to know. Good question, A. Wallace.
Yes.
The answer is yes.
Yes, too.
It's highly possible this episode will make you have feels far beyond that of mortal men.
Feels with the strength of 10 men.
Faster than a speeding feel. More powerful than a feel emotive. Able to leap tall fields in a single feel.
Well, basically, we're saying you'll have super feels, okay?
Feels!
Yeah.
It's just going to be a tough one. This is going to be...
Yeah.
There's no way of getting around it. This is going to be designed to be an emotional episode. We're going to see closure on so much stuff.
Right.
And I really feel like there'll be hints at saying goodbye, even to oneself.
Yeah. I feel like at the end there's going to be some kind of like thing where 10 is like... A little more 10 will kind of know that 11 is almost done. You know what I mean? And he'll be like, farewell or something. You know what I mean? Like it'll be some kind of thing like that.
I have a question for you, Taylor.
Yes.
Do you suppose that this will be 10 from a time in which he was David Tennant is 10, or is this 10 and Rose from the other universe?
I think... I know there's been a lot of talk about it being 10-2 and Rose... or Dr. 2, which I like to call him.
Dr. 2. Electric Boogaloo.
Electric Boogaloo. In parentheses.
Pikachu. Who?
Pika-hoo. Anyway, we're getting off topic. I believe...
Dr. Chu?
I think it will be 10 at a time where he's... during season 2, where he's traveling with Rose. That's what I believe.
Okay.
I think it would be kind of a cheap trick for it not to really be the Doctor and for it to be his clone. That, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I don't know, because we're expecting that, so it's like, well, guess what? It's not really him.
Yeah.
And there's this whole, I don't know about... Moffat likes to change everything, but they used to say, you're not supposed to be able to go across the universes. It's impossible. Stop it. You're cutting holes in the space-time continuum or whatever.
Right, but then he rebooted the universe.
So it maybe... Well, Moffat could say, but it's okay now because I'm writing the show, so...
It's wibbly-wobbly, timey-wimey, dimensiony-wemsiony.
Yes. Parallel, werelel.
Just the whole script is written like
yes,
this. It's,
like that.
Hello, wello, Dr. Boctor. Hiya, baya, Rosie Dozy.
But I do think it's going to be 10 and Rose from, like, season 2 when they're traveling around. And it's just some adventure that they never really spoke of.
Look out for that Dalek. Look out for that Trolloc. Sorry.
I hope not. I hope it's not like that.
Please. Apparently, if you do an entire script like that, it naturally becomes 3D. You don't have to film it. Secret British trick.
I feel like I really am excited for it. I'm excited to see how 10 and 11 interact. I'm excited to see, the big thing too is going to be 11 gets to, the Doctor gets to see Rose again.
How do you think Claire is going to take that?
Well, there's that, but then there's also just, 11 hasn't really talked about Rose. I feel like the Doctor now is like over her. You know what I mean?
Yeah. She's an ex, an old ex.
Yeah. So to see this scene that we'll see where he gets to see her again, and this is a point in her life where she's just head over heels for the Doctor. You know what I mean? And he'll see that love between the two of them. It'll be that's some feels right there.
And now I'm kind of worried because how will they explain that they saw them?
Well, that's the other thing too, is I don't know how they're going to go about this. If maybe
the adventure itself, because they're rectifying something with a former Doctor. Maybe once Tennant and Rose leave, that
they won't remember.
They'll forget they ever saw them.
Yeah, this reminds me of I haven't seen any of the specials that are like the 2 Doctors, the 5 Doctors, the 3 Doctors. I haven't seen any of those yet, so I don't really know how that worked. But I have seen Time Crash, that little children in need thing, and that's hilarious because 10 does the thing and he's like, you know what to do because you remembered when this happened.
Right.
So maybe that will be, maybe, he may remember. Another thing might be that 10 will know, he'll know it's him.
But he might not say it.
And Rose might not know. 10 might just be like, oh, this is my colleague, Mr. Smith or whatever. So
this is...
She'll be like, wait a minute, John Smith. I've heard that before.
This is Dr. Matt Smith.
Yeah. Oh my god. I can't believe they haven't done that yet.
Listen, Stephen, if you're listening to this, it's not too late.
It's 2 episodes left. You can still write it.
You could have David Tennant say, I'm John Smith, and then have Matt Smith go, and I'm Matt Smith.
I'm Smith as well. Matt Smith.
And then everybody just looks at him, and he
looks at the camera.
Famous wink, wink.
He looks at the camera.
Did I just knock you over?
No. I just put my face down. Maybe he'll throw an Austin Powers in there. I thank you. Wallace, I'm very excited for that and anything else that's to come in that episode. Mostly, I'm really interested in the interactions between the characters. 10 and 11, 11 and Rose, Clara and 10, Clara and Rose.
Clara and Rose.
Right, yeah.
We've all seen how Rose reacts to other... Yeah. How she reacted to Sarah Jane Smith.
Right. And Sarah Jane was, older. This will be a girl that's like the same, yeah.
Young, cute, adorable.
Yeah.
British.
Right.
I don't know why that matters, but...
Well, Sarah Jane was British too, so...
Yeah, I guess that's true. They all are, aren't they? I forget sometimes.
Well, that's funny because him and Sarah Jane had history together, but him and Clara have future together.
Oh, look at what you did there!
Did you see it?
I saw that. That was good.
You know who I'm rooting for to come back?
Ooh, who are you rooting for to come back?
K9. Please. Throw him in there.
Please.
Please.
I love it.
Moffat, it's not too late.
There's still time.
Yeah.
It's all about time.
It is. Well, I also had one other thing. Just some kind of interesting thing I saw. I think it's in the new Doctor Who magazine. And I just saw it like online. Somebody had posted kind of the interview. It was some teasers for the 12th Doctor, like what Moffat was he was kind of giving us some hints here.
Yes.
And I'm going to find it. Hold on. I was doing
You know what I'm upset about?
What are you upset about?
There's still no 50th anniversary trailer online.
That is a pain in the butt.
Like, look, I get that you released it at Comic-Con, early, okay. It's been like a month. Release it online. Let us see it. Give us something. Stop being little misers about it.
I mean, we could really use something. I could use something. Let's see.
We could use a little more Doctor.
Okay. Here we go.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so it's about the 12th Doctor. Okay, so here they are. There's a few of them. And so they're kind of interesting. It says, Moffat is pretty certain Capaldi will keep his native Scottish accent for the role. So he'll be Scottish. If it's not Scottish, it's crap. Tell me you've seen that Saturday Night Live sketch.
Yes.
Yes, okay, thank you.
Yes, I have.
Okay, it says, at the moment, they've only discussed 12's costume in the lightest terms. So, it's going to be wearing next to nothing? I don't know. Moffat wanted to flip the switch the other way after having two youthful and accessible Doctors in a row. He's going to be an older, trickier, and fiercer Doctor. So, as angry as Tennant and Smith got, I guess Capaldi's going to get super angry.
He's going to become more Smithier than Smith.
Let's see. And just as Claire is learning to have an old proper crush on him, suddenly he's Malcolm Tucker, which is the character he plays in that one show where he cusses all the time. Moffat thinks it'll be fun seeing Clara cope with the Doctor and being completely different. I think the fun story will be, and we will have the opportunity here, is this is what regeneration can do to you. He can be very, very different. People love people love Jenna, so we make the Doctor quite difficult. Moffat likens the situation to Tom Baker's first season. He's really quite difficult to take at the beginning, and you're very grateful that Sarah and the Brigadier are there to reassure you.
That is true, though. I don't know if you've.
I haven't really seen a lot of Tom Baker, but I can't imagine he's difficult to take at the beginning.
Yeah, well, and it's funny. I actually recently watched Robot again, which is the first Tom Baker, and he's so ornery, considering he just spent most of his last regeneration, or if not all of his last regeneration, working hand in hand with the Brigadier and with the unit, and all of a sudden he's just like, nope, I'm not going to play ball.
Yeah. I say, I'm out of here.
He was.
Well, because everything I've kind of seen in the Fourth Doctor, any pictures or anything, he seems happy and chipper and goofy. Yes. And he kind of is. Kind of be difficult. But, yeah. So this will be really interesting with Capaldi. I'm so excited. I wish we had the actual stuff to see. We could talk about it, but unfortunately, we cannot actually travel.
Dang it!
I know.
Well, folks, that appears to be it. Looks like we're finally here at the end of the podcast, and as promised, all things can make sense. You see, because of wibbly wobbly, timey wimey, universally, wooniversally, doctory woctory, daleki boleki walleki, we are now at a point where you know what we meant at the beginning when we said it'll all come around. Interesting.
Yeah, I have some.
How does he do it? You might ask.
I have some editing to do.
Editing, wedditing?
Yes, editing, wedditing.
Don't you dare, don't you bear.
All right, guys.
Thank you all for listening to us.
Yeah, thanks for listening to us ramble. We had a good time, and keep sending in some more questions. If anybody's got a question, we would love to answer it.
Thank you, Paul, for listening to us. Really appreciate it. And to like the 7 fans we have.
I think you need to go to bed.
Why jink you in bed until dead? I don't know. Hey, thank you for listening, and remember, this right here, this is all happening 8 years from now. You have no idea.
Skibbledy-bibbledy.
You've seen the 5th year. Skibbledy-bibbledy. Blue fish, red fish, 2 fish, new fish.
I do not like
blue
them.
Fish.
Sam, I am.
In the TARDIS, that I am. Dr. Seuss.
All right. Bye, everybody.
See you later. Born of a dog. Goodbye.